My wife and I got married shortly after high school. We were both 19. We were in Abilene for about 8 years, and the door into vocational ministry was opening in another place. We had moved up to North Idaho, and I went on staff at a church there as a children's pastor. Through a relationship that I had made running camps in the Northwest while we were in Idaho, I got a call from a church in Arizona to come on staff as a kids pastor. It was a big church. It was about 10,000 people. Britney and I were so excited at the prospect that God was using us to affect change in small churches, and now there was an opportunity in a much larger church. We prayed and felt peace to go. My first year at this church, I was a kids pastor at our broadcast campus. At the time, we had 5. And a year in, I was promoted to senior team, what they call directional leadership team, and I oversaw all of the kids' ministries at our campuses. And a year into being on senior team is when the wheels really came off. At 2 different campuses, there was child-on-child abuse that had taken place. That's when I felt my world start to shrink. It was about a month later. We were in our season of prayer and fasting corporately, our church, and I was teaching that morning to our entire church about pain. I finished teaching that morning, and that afternoon I was called into my oversight's office with our senior executive pastor present, and they had let me know that they cleared my afternoon for me, and they said to me, "Daniel, we feel that you do not carry the capacity to lead at this level." And after all of that work that I had put into this career path to move relatively quickly, might I add, it all kind of came crashing down. I had 2 choices: to resign or to take a staff position at another campus. My wife, Britney, and I were in a position where we knew the goodness of God, but had not been tested in our ability to believe it. I went into identity crisis. I was what I did, and at this point I was told that what I did was not enough, so I wasn't enough. My wife carried the leadership of our home for months. I just called David McQueen and I told him what had happened. I didn't know what to do. I said, "David, I feel like my life is falling apart. We're about to lose the house." We were in financial strain. And I told David at my lowest, I said, "Would you help me find a job?" And it was a day or 2 later, Jeffrey Turner had called and asked me to share with him the story and said, it's interesting. We have a role here that we have been looking for someone. And I'm curious if you'd be interested in interviewing for our student pastor position. And without talking to my wife, I said, "Well, we'll need to pray about it, but yes." After Britney and I had fasted, I felt the peace to resign my post at this church and pursue the opportunity back in Abilene. Today, I find myself a better part of just over a year into my role at Beltway, and I can confidently say, my wife would tell you, it has been the greatest season of ministry in my entire life. God didn't make that season in Arizona good, but He used it to bring us home. And man, is it good. I am so grateful for the faith that our own leadership here walked in to give me a second chance. And I'm at the place now where I can thank God for knowing what I needed in a season of failure to get to the end of myself and find the beginning of His plan for my life.